3 is finally here. Since E3 2011, the anticipation for this title has been extremely high, and gamers have been waiting to enter the battlefield once again. Can Battlefield 3 stand up to the competition, or does it need more time in the boot camp? Battlefield 3's campaign is a train wreck in almost every aspect. You play as Sergeant Blackbird, who is being interrogated by the US government simply because he's a great soldier who was in the wrong place at the wrong time. You will play out different scenarios through the campaign until you reach the big bad guy who's done the bad things. Nukes, crazy dudes that want world domination, explosion, government involvement, it's all here. The issue is the way the story rolls out is all too familiar and poorly executed. Does the story sound a little bit familiar? It should. Battlefield 3 borrows story aspects from various Call of Duty titles in the franchise. DICE and EA constantly said they were not trying to be Call of Duty, but the campaign proves otherwise. The bigger issue is that the campaign is just downright bad compared to them. With the campaign only lasting a mere 4 hours, you really have no time to really understand what was going on. The bad writing doesn't help the story progress, and a lot of times you play the bite-sized levels wondering, what was the point? The game tries to throw in epic moments just to make you say, wow, that was awesome, but instead you feel like you're watching a mindless action flick. Overall, the campaign is pretty terrible and should have been scrapped. Most people don't play Battlefield for the campaign, but that doesn't mean that the story needs to be forgotten.
Let's fucking go!
Playing Battlefield 3 and taking the action online is obviously the main focus that most gamers will have. Competitive multiplayer features game types like Conquest, Rush, Team Deathmatch, and different squad-based type games. Classics like Conquest and Rush still feel like the main focus, but Team Deathmatch feels like it had a lot more development time than previous titles. Customization is obviously another focus that DICE has, and you can tell quite a bit. Every weapon has various different attachments ranging from scopes, barrels, undergrips, and new flashlight attachments. Different accessories like carrying more ammo and flak suits allow you to take more damage also become available as you climb your way through the ranks. But how does Battlefield 3 actually play? If you have played Battlefield Bad Company 2, then you've played Battlefield 3, which ends up being Battlefield 3's curse. In terms of actual gameplay, there's very little new. Players can now go into prone instead of just crouching, and knifing enemies now has an animation instead of just stabbing them. It's little things like that that have been added, but it's not enough. The biggest issue with Battlefield 3 is all the annoying parts from Battlefield Bad Company 2 are still here. Animations are still very clunky, and sometimes look like people are robots. People can still take a full clip of bullets, not die, turn around and kill you in one shot. The kill cam still zooms in way too far and doesn't allow you to actually see where the camping sniper is hiding. Lag is unsurprisingly a big factor and can be downright infuriating. Getting into battles only to have players jumping all around and not being able to land a single shot is still a problem. Being killed when you clearly took cover and were out of harm's way still exists. Map design is decent, but since the console version only supports 24 people in modes like Conquest, you still feel like you aren't really doing anything. You can spend 10 minutes running to a point and never seeing a single ally or enemy. Some maps have way too many areas that encourage camping, and being killed by a sniper that's impossible to see gets old really fast. Modes like Team Deathmatch cut this map size down to much more suitable sizes, but the spawn points are extremely bad. A lot of times you will spawn literally in front of an enemy and be killed before you have a chance to move. Progression is more important ever in Battlefield, and you will need to grind for a while until you finally get the weapons that have some real firepower. At first you'll be constantly dying since matchmaking is downright broken, and a lot of times you'll be facing enemies that are more than twice your rank and have weapon attachments that give them the edge. Vehicles make their return, but once again, due to the 24 player limit, you can spend a lot of time in a tank or a jet just moving throughout the map and not seeing a single person, or doing much at all. A co-op mode has been added, but gives you little playtime. Co-op features only a handful of small 15-minute missions that are to be completed with a friend. You simply do the mission and try to stay alive. If you die, you have to start all over. Playing through all the missions available will only take you about an hour or two, and ends up being an afterthought pretty quick. Just like the campaign, it's a very sloppy attempt at co-op. Battlefield 3's gameplay isn't really bad, but it's just too similar to Battlefield Bad Company 2. But if you love Battlefield, then you'll feel right at home. All of the good things from Battlefield Bad Company 2 are here as well. You can play as a support type for the whole round without ever firing a bullet and reviving your squad mates and still come out on top. Playing with a full squad and coordinating your loadouts and attacks is still a lot of fun. But you just have to be prepared for all the annoying bugs that plagued the previous titles to frustrate you again. DICE says they are working on fixes, but that's the same thing they said for Battlefield Bad Company 2. so I'm definitely not holding my breath there.
Somebody get me out of here!
Battlefield 3 uses a new Frostbite engine too, but a new engine doesn't always mean it's good. The visual quality of Battlefield 3 is up and down. While lighting has some of the most amazing effects I've ever seen, actual texture quality is hit and miss. Some textures are nice and detailed, where others are just flat and ugly. If you plan on playing without the optional texture pack, probably want to think again. Without the texture pack, everything looks literally last gen. Audio, on the other hand, is top notch. Guns have a satisfying sound, and as always with the Battlefield franchise, you actually feel like a battle is going on around you. Frostbite 2 on consoles won't set any new standards, but it's definitely not an eyesore all the time. Polish is a word that's been thrown around a lot this year, and Battlefield 3 on consoles is far from being polished. The campaign is a joke, the engine is just decent, and the multiplayer still has issues that have plagued the franchise for years. The best way to describe Battlefield 3 is Battlefield Bad Company 2 with a new coat of paint. Sadly, this title just does not live up to the hype and is a massive disappointment. They should have spent their time actually building a new game instead of trying to tweak what they already had. For the Love of Gaming gives Battlefield 3 on consoles a 6 out of 10.